Today's episode takes place in a different location. A new conversation begins right now. Hi, my name is Opie Fafore, and welcome to Conversations with Opie, a show dedicated to inspire you to use your gift, dream big, and walk in your purpose. Now, as you can see, my setting is a little bit different because I have a special guest with me here, Freddie Williams. Thank you. Oh, I also known as Foxx. I do come with Foxx. But thank you so much for being on the show with me today. No problem.
Thank you for having me.
One of the reasons, as I have mentioned to him earlier, is that I am truly inspired by his work in the community. This is his barbershop, and tell us a little bit about that, how you got involved in barbering.
So I started cutting hair around 14, 15, freshman year of high school. I was inspired by my dad cutting my hair. Okay. Which didn't work out too well. So I started cutting hair, my friends, and then it led to, my teammates. And I did it kind of like a side gig during school. Okay. And then I graduated high school. I went on to play basketball here at OC. And the broke college thing kind of was like, wasn't my lane at the time. So I had a couple friends opening a barbershop. Okay. At 19, and I was 19 at the time, so I put my hat in the ring with that, and here I am 23 years later. Wow. I opened my own shop. This shop makes 4 years in this June, and I worked under a couple other barbers and managed a couple of shops in between. But this has been such a blessing to be able to open your own shop and have your own energy and own staff that kind of has the same common goal. Right. So it's going really well.
And mind you, he's also my barber. So right. So I've known you for quite a time now. Yep. And one of the things that I've realized is that you are not just cutting the hair. You've created relationships with the people that you cut hair with, and you've also inspired people in the community that you serve. What inspired you to take action in your community?
It's funny that you hit on that point. Is that last night I went to my coworker Brian Cruz's house, and we had that same conversation about I've been cutting 23 years, he's been cutting 26 years, and it's just, you see the difference in people that have that many years in the way we deal with our clients, and there's some younger barbers that are getting there and that have built that also, but it's so important. Our clients come and sit, we know how many kids they have. Right. We know what sports teams they like, we know which their job and the grandkids, whatever it is, we know, and it's really a true blessing to be able to build those relationships. And at 19, I started working with the youth, a lot of youth programs, whether it be leagues and opening up my own shop. I was able to really dive into the charitable aspect of things. With the clothing drive, the food drive, the Toys for Tots and things like that, because you have a platform. When so many people, we know so many people between myself and the other 7 barbers in here. It's a big platform. You're out, everybody kind of knows you after a while. You come like a social rock star in the community, Yeah. So I said, what, I have to use that platform for the community. I was doing at 19, also, I was doing party promotions. Okay. So I had me and a couple of DJs and a couple other promoters. We would run around in New Paltz, Middletown, Newburgh. So I'm reaching so many people. I just converted it to, you know what I mean? And it was less stress, and it was, to me, it was more rewarding. Right. So I recently got, this would be my second year on the Middletown School Board. I got elected in 2020. Right. Which was very interesting. So that's another platform I'm able to really, reach kids. I was always trying to find a way to link myself with the school, and this was the perfect thing. So with that being said, I kind of covered all the bases with, I'm a coach, I'm a business owner, and I'm in the Middletown School Board. So between those things, I'm reaching so many kids.
How do you find time to do all that?
I don't know.
To be able to find energy. I mean, having a business of your own is a lot of work.
Right.
To sustain it, to keep it up to date, to make sure that, again, your clientele feels welcome, you're serving them. But then how do you find the time outside of that to be on the school board?
Yeah.
And not just to be on there, but to be involved, like actually take part in it, not just as a spectator. And then you're coaching your son, you're coaching other youth. How do you find the time?
It's challenging at times. It really is. So with here, I don't really worry too much about the shop. I have, like, you know, when you have a good staff, it kind of takes care of itself. You know, I'll check in every then on the camera, or, you know, I'll make a call. And but I've been able to go away. I mean, I opened the shop in June 2018. I was able to go away. I think I went away that September. Like, I flew out somewhere, and I had no worries, you know, because besides co-workers, they're my friends. Like, you know what I mean?
You trust
Brian Cruz. We've been friends. Oh my God, I'm gonna date myself. He's been my friend over 30 years.
Wow.
Right. So we have that connection. I trust him. He trusts. So that is one thing that helps. The coaching, you know, I work for the YMCA. Besides, you know, I started my own Middletown Youth Sports. That's the LLC I just started, which is an organization to make a bunch of programs free for all the kids.
Okay.
You have a lot of programs out there, but they charge and they charge and they charge, and it adds up, you know. So my thing is, you know, I'm a not-for-profit also. So I've just started. I added that onto my plate besides the school board and business. But you know what? I'm very strategic with my time now. Even barbering, like if I take a break, I'm doing something else. Like I don't really have any downtime. You know what I mean? I don't mind it because I sleep good after all of this. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's definitely challenging. But if you have the right people around you and the right structure, it comes together. You know. But I definitely have to take some time off every now and then to not burn out. That burnout feeling is terrible. And I've had it, you know, dealing with the school board and the business and coaching, and you know. So, but it's a blessing at the end of the day. I always say I'd rather be too busy than not busy at all. You know. What advice would you give someone who wants to get involved but doesn't know how to even get started? As far as like within the community?
Yeah, within the community.
Go to a school board meeting. I mean, there's a bunch of programs. There's a bunch of things going on within the district.
Right.
And we always look for outside help. You know, volunteer this, volunteer. We have the rec center in Middletown. You can go to the police department in Middletown. There's so many programs that people don't know about because it may not be marketed right or promoted right, you know. And we kind of don't look for those things online, or we don't look in the paper, you know, for those things. But I would say reach out. And I mean, even local businesses, like if somebody comes here, I can point them in the right direction, you know, quick. But the school board meetings is a good outlet. Like I said, the police department, the rec center. You can go to a nursing home. Just anything to get involved. You know what I mean? It's all about asking. A lot of times we kind of just don't know. You know, you got to know better to do better, basically, you know?
We feel that it's just supposed to come to us, but we don't want to do the work to actually get it done.
Yep. Even with like the toy drive and the, you know, the food drive and clothing drive, there's a lot of places that promote that, you know, so you just have to ask.
Right. What is the biggest takeaway that you've gotten from being involved in your community and being involved with people in general?
The biggest takeaway. Well, I was born and raised in Middletown, right? Mm-hmm. So literally, we're on that North Street right there. So I was born and raised on North Street, 411 North Street. Okay. So at times it's like mind blowing that I'm able to have a business here in the city I was born and raised. Just the biggest takeaway is like, it's really humbling, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I do a lot of things and, you know, I get a lot of acknowledgement, you know, but it's like people, if they understood where I came from, maybe they would understand more, you know, coming up, you know, had a good upbringing, you know, right here in town. I moved from Middletown to Scotchtown, so I changed school districts, which was a big jump for me in 3rd grade. So, but I always had a Middletown address. I was always Middletown. I went to Pine Bush. People thought I lived in Pine Bush, like out on a farm or something like that. So to be able to come back, right, after graduating and open a business, it's just like such a blessing. I'm trying to put it into words how you know, the takeaway from it. It's completely humbling. It's a blessing. You know, I'm trying to pay it forward. You know, it's a really big deal. Every day I open that unlock the door. I remember the first time I was renovating, and the first day of business where I actually unlocked the door, I just looked around outside like, wow, you know what I mean? This is like, this is a dream to me, you know, to be able to have a platform and to reach people, I mean, from 2 to 99 years old, you know, everywhere in between, one way or another, I can affect, you know, their life and what's going on. Like I said, whether it be a toy drive or a food drive or delivering, you know, this year was insane. So last year we accumulated, I think, 300 gifts for toys for Toys for Tots and older kids. This year we did about 375.
Wow.
Yeah, like next year I'm gonna have to get a storage unit because this whole thing was, but like that just. I don't know. It just it gets me going. I delivered to emergency housing this year, the hospital, and a church. So within those 3, I gave out like 300, and then I had families come here and pick up gifts, and I delivered some. But just that, I played Santa. I felt great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Knowing where I come from, and like I said, I had a good upbringing. Didn't have it all, and I think that's a good thing. Because then you strive for that, right? And our kids should have more than we had. So, you know, and getting the, you know, the acknowledgement from the community and family always calls me up and, oh, you're doing such a good job. My dad will randomly call me, my mom will and I love it. You know what I mean? Because that lets me know I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a true blessing to be able to be in this position. And you guys also, as a business, you guys are great. I send everybody who comes in, I send them right there because you guys have great energy. You know what I mean? You're genuine.
Thank you.
Right? And that's what it's about. And I believe every business that has a platform to give should give in some kind of way. And you guys always have like certificates and promotions and stuff like that. And that's awesome. And that's what I believe should happen when you have the platform to do it.
Right,
you know?
Right. You're part of the community. You want to be able to give back to the community. I mean, you want to see it grow. Right. And the success of it, like for you to be successful, for you to do well, the people around you have to do well too.
That's right.
So it's kind of it's a circle.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. As far as business, like within us, I opening up. I wasn't worried about me being busy because we relocated not far, just down the street, and I had relocated with 4 barbers, and I wasn't really concerned about me being busy. I was losing sleep about them being busy, right? But I'm telling you, the first week we did the ribbon cutting, and it just took off from there, and everybody's busy and healthy, and so that's the thing. Like you said, it all comes together if everybody's like one. There's no division, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm so blessed to have this team I have with me. These guys are awesome. You know, they're selfless, and that's how it works, you know? So you hit the nail on the head with that one. Yeah, for sure.
And what do you want to see going forward? Like, do you believe that you have found your purpose and you're walking in it, or where do you want to go from here? You've reached this level.
Right.
How far do you want to go?
You know what? I always tell the kids I coach too, never be, you don't want to spin your wheels and stay in the same place, right? You don't want to be content with what you're doing. So I wear a lot of hats, and I have a lot of layers to myself now. But I would like to be involved on the city side also. Okay. So whether it be alderman, some type, you know, something like that with the city of Middletown. Okay. I've had a good relationship with the city of Middletown. I've worked downtown for, like I said, 23 years. Good relationship with the mayor and some people in City Hall. The school thing, I'm still getting my feet up under me with the city. The school board.
School board, right?
It's a lot of layers to it, right? I just joined the audit committee, and those numbers are jumping out. I mean, in a district this big. So I love this being able to deal with the kids, and even before the school board, I was multiple programs. You know, I was working at the rec center, the YMCA currently. Like I said, I opened my own business with the Middletown Youth Sports. So that's always going to be a consistent thing, you know, regardless. But I would like to be on the school board and to deal with the city at the same time. One of my fellow school board members, she does it now. I don't know how she finds the time, right? But she does it. So being here, having a business in the downtown district, it kind of like goes hand in hand, I think. You know, I mean, so I would like to jump into the city side of things, along with what I'm doing now with the school board. I think and they both go hand in hand because we deal with this, you know, the school board deals with the city of Middletown a lot. Right. As is, you know, with the police chief and the mayor, and, you know, we have programs and stuff like that. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So I would like to cross over to that also.
That's really good.
Yeah.
You're just adding more to your plate.
Yeah, I am for sure. For sure.
So how do you find people to help you along the way? You've mentioned like the food drive, the toy drive. How do you make these connections with people to be able to fund a large number? I mean, 375 is no easy feat.
Right. So I market it and promote it, and it kind of happens organically. And through even my clients, the clients I cut and that I've known through the years, I mention it and they just jump on it. You know, the Middletown Police Department has helped out since I've been doing it. You know, they brought over 100 gifts between the last, 100 gifts last year and this year each time. You know what I mean? So they did a tremendous help. And organically, just other people you meet. You know, once you're in that realm, you kind of, people find each other, right? That have the same common goal. So Mitchell Williams has helped out a tremendous job. He just got voted on to the school board last year, and he's an advocate for youth, and he has a company, 845 Elite Basketball and 845 Boxing, and he's been like a godsend. We were on the school board together. We have the same common goal. Like, we're like brothers from another mother. When we met, we clicked. You know what I mean? So now having him on the school board with me is a great advantage to step forward and do things. And we've opened up a lot of programs within the school. Being on the school board, we've had tremendous hires come within, and Middletown's making a big push. You know, Middletown's 70% black and brown, right, through the district. So we've made a good push for kind of getting the landscape to look like the students, right, more or less. So whether it be maintenance, security, teachers assistants, food services. So he's been a really big part of the push, and adding to the push for all the events that I do. We did a community barbecue. It Takes a Village barbecue, and that was in late August of last year. I mean, we gave away over 100 book bags and with supplies. Face painting, and the police department came through and took care of all the food. Middletown City School provided some food, and it was just like a great thing. So that's an annual thing. We're looking forward to that again this year. Nice. People like Mitchell Williams, Carol Cuevas, she's awesome. She's opened a jewelry spot right down here on Wisner. Is that Wisner? Wickham Avenue? Sorry, yep. Okay. So people it's people with business mind that actually have businesses too. She has her jewelry line, Mitchell. So it's like, they take time outside the business to help. And that's exactly what I was talking about. You know what I mean? So, people with a common goal makes things move a lot smoother. A lot more efficient. You know? So you mentioned a lot of the youth programs. Yep. So to me, it seems that you definitely feel that engaging the young ones like now is important to building a better community. Oh yeah. Tell me more about the programs that you've done and where people can actually either engage their children in it, people that want to get involved in doing something like that. Yep. So I have I was going to say 11-year-old son. He just turned 11 last week. So, training him and coaching him, I've met a bunch of his friends, so even before he was born, I have a 20-year-old daughter. So I was coaching her in flag football at 7, so we're going back 13 years ago. So from 13 years on, I've been really into the flag football thing for the youth. So fast forward to today, I'm a director of the flag football program at the YMCA. I've opened up Middletown Youth Sports, which is my LLC, not-for-profit. So flag football falls under there. We have a basketball program under there, boxing program under there. So people can find me personally the YMCA. I have my programs there. Middletown Youth Sports at gmail.com is our email. We're having, for the first time ever in this area, a flag football camp. So that's going to come in August and July. Okay. And like I said, everything is very low cost. You know, that's the goal is to. I know everybody can afford it. You know, and we sponsor it. We're going to be sponsoring kids also that can't pay anything. We're going to sponsor them. So I'm currently at the YMCA. Like even today, before you came in, I was posting our workout at Willie Carter for flag football today, 12:30 to 1:30. So I do that every Sunday. Okay. It's free. Kids just come in, you know, get sweaty, get working hard. You know, I always tell the parents, I'm gonna take a nap after. Right.
Give you a break after.
Yeah. So that's the goal. But it's expanding. We have a basketball camp that's coming this summer also, with some great coaches, great staff, and that's another thing. Everybody that we deal with is great with the kids. That's mandatory. We don't there's no skepticism on how good that person is going to be with the kids. Okay. You know what I mean? Myself, Mitchell Williams, John Merchant, we have a plethora of coaches and volunteers and fathers that come, and that always means a lot when the parents get involved. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because they can watch it, and and even the way I coach, every coach is not perfect, but I always turn to the parents like, what do you think we should do? Right. I have my own thing, but you want to really involve and be inclusive. You want everybody to feel like they're a part of something.
Developing children.
And that's the part with the kids. There's kids that may not be good at basketball, may not be good at baseball, but in flag football, you can run. If you can run, you can play, right? And we want to expand it to, like I said, basketball, boxing, and we want to expand it to soccer, right? With a big Latin population in Middletown, soccer, I think there's not enough.
That's true.
Outlets
there's not.
For them,
you're right.
Our platform, so we're working on that also. But yeah, I've been in it for a while. Even before I started coaching my daughter, I was doing basketball tournaments at the local parks.
Have you guys considered track and field? I'm a little biased because that's my.
You know what? Yes, that is funny you said that, because once again, Mitchell Williams said that we need, because leading up to middle school, there's really nothing.
Nothing, right?
So yes, we're definitely working on that. That and cheerleading, cheerleading for a certain age group, really that isn't there. You know what I mean? Isn't provided. So it's funny you say that. Yes, he mentioned track, right? So we're going to looking into the track and field, and cheerleading is actually spearheaded by him now. So he's been working on that. So Middletown Youth Sports is going to put in cheerleading, and track and field is on the way. Yes, definitely. I'm glad you mentioned that, because we do a lot, right? So you mentioning that kind of that let me know that we got.
That's just a little bit of my bias showing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's important. It's important. Definitely is important. Yes, track and field is awesome.
And it's something that a lot of kids can get involved in, even if they don't. A lot
of kids. But
like you said, all you have to do is run.
Right. So it's filling in the gaps, because we've seen that a big gap of if you're not in a program and your parents don't pay for a program, between third grade, where they start to kind of find their way, and sixth grade there's a big gap. There's nothing there.
Lack of structure.
Right. Even in sixth grade, that you can't really play on a modified team yet.
That's
so
true.
It really goes from third grade to seventh grade, where we're trying to fill that gap, and we want to hand these kids to these coaches and get them into school ready to go. You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like now that I think about it, there's modified starts at seventh grade, and then that's when you can do sports. But then what happens between once you start school in there, and then there's no. Unless you're on a sports team, which may be too expensive for everyone, equipment, and all that. Yep. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, my son is lucky. He's on the AAU travel basketball team, and he does travel flag. I always tell him, I'm like, listen, you're lucky, dude. Last year we actually flew to Tampa, Florida for a flag football game. And I said, and he was 9 at the time.
Wow.
I'm like, this doesn't happen.
This doesn't happen,
often. You know, I said, just go back and look at your school, right? And look at everybody that didn't take that trip, you know, or doesn't plan it. So I said, you're very fortunate, you know what I mean? So and even me, like being a business owner and having a couple different layers for myself, I feel very fortunate to actually take those trips. Because that's another thing, like, so I make my own schedule. Mm-hmm. So when we go on these trips, you know, you see a lot of dads can't make the trips.
Right.
They got to work, you know what I mean? Especially with the job market now, you know, you miss a day, you might not have a job, you know what I mean? So I feel very fortunate and blessed to be in that position also, to be a business owner who can I can move how I need to move, you know what I mean? Especially with my little guy. So it's very
to be
fortunate.
Involved in his life.
Oh,
and
man.
Also, that's a blessing.
Very fortunate, yes.
Wow. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Absolutely.
I feel like we can go on and on. And
right,
I'm
right. Part 2. We'll get a part 2 soon.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. I feel blessed to be here and to be able to learn more about you and your involvement in the community. And so much stuff that you're into that is beneficial to the development of the youth. Mm-hmm. And hopefully can also help adults too. There's some people, like we just talked about, if you only know what you know. So if when you're younger, if you're not exposed to all these things, then it becomes harder for you as you get older. But if you know now, then take action, change your ways.
Exactly.
You're still alive, so you can still make a difference in your community, in your family. Mm-hmm. So thank you again for sharing all that with me today.
Yes, thank you. I'm doing great things, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you and your family. You guys are awesome. You've been a blessing since you guys come around. So
thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope that you were able to gain so much from this conversation, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.